an environmental justice lens, how exactly does gerrymanders exacerbate the environmental injustices that we see? And so some of the research that my team facilitated and that I led was looking at specifically the previous gerrymanders, even though they're not old. They are old gerrymanders, old by what, 3 years, maybe max. Here we are. And so what we saw is a deep correlation with the exact locations of these corporations that are causing the contaminants in our water, the breaches and so forth, were actually located perfect shape within the same gerrymanders. The gerrymanders also were found guilty for racial discrimination and gerrymandering. So we're seeing that layering of what you lifted earlier, Travis, is that, you know, these burden of pollution in communities of color, in indigenous communities. We have the largest indigenous community east of the Mississippi with the Lumbee Nation. We have the largest African American population in the state in eastern North Carolina because it's considered the Black Belt. And so we're seeing that is where the concentration of corporations are. Like you lifted, the number one hog production facility in the world, as it's claimed, but definitely in the nation, is Duplin County. And number two is right beside it by 10 minutes. That's Sampson. They are within the same district. So we were looking at this entrenchment of power and, you know, the fact that gerrymanders were really drawn in a way that supports these corporations. And it supports it in the sense of several different ways. We noticed that some of the original individuals elected that were part of the original gerrymandering committees also had taken up to $200,000 in campaign contributions from the same corporations that are now being sued and have been sued by community members because they polluted their waterways and they polluted their soil. So we're seeing that some of the electeds that cannot be removed by gerrymanders, right? Because you can't vote gerrymandered politicians out as easy if, you know, in a civic process. These are the same folks that are now giving protection bills and protection farm bills for these corporations who are literally harming and causing the illnesses within our community. So there's a deep intersection that cannot be separated between environmental justice and democracy. It just can't.